So it's the hit show Empire, shattered records this season, and as we said off the top of the show, listen, it's the first series to grow its audience each and every week for a record 10 straight weeks. Now they're making news for a completely different reason. As we get into it here with Matt Fleischman of Rosensteel Fleischman law firm here in Charlotte, and we're going to talk about this lawsuit over the name Empire. I'm just reading some of the details. Apparently, Matt, there is a record label that's been in existence for some time called Empire Distribution. Talk about what's going on here.
So in general, you've got a Empire Distribution, which is basically a record label that has sent notice to Fox to either cease and desist the use of the term Empire or to pay Empire Distribution money for the use of that term.
Is it trademarked? Because that's where it always comes back. Does Empire Distribution have a trademark for Empire?
Well, they're claiming one. There's not one that's actually registered with the trademark office, but in and of itself, you're not required to do that.
Really?
That's correct.
That's news to me.
Well,
I think if you start a company with a name, you have to trademark it, don't you?
It is trademarked. It's automatically trademarked. There's state and there's federal trademark.
Okay.
Now, you can have a trademark without actually registering it. Registering it with the federal trademark office gives you extra rights. For one, you can file in federal courts. You can get attorney's fees if there's infringement, etc. What Fox is doing is they're being preemptive. What they're saying is you do not have a registered trademark, a legal trademark, so we're going to file for a order from a court called a deck action to say that you do not actually have a trademark and we're not infringing any mark that you may have.
So it seems interesting. Fox is going after the group that's trying to say don't use our name. So you know what I'm saying? It's weird.
It is and it isn't. So intellectual property law, patents, trademarks, copyrights, a lot of times businesses use them more as a sword than a shield. So if you are a company and you might have a lot more money than another company, you can basically file against that company in court, and if you've got more lawyers, better lawyers, and you're willing to spend more money, you can spend your competition out of court. So the way you can think about it in this case is a trademark, intellectual property, is only as valuable as much as you're willing to spend on it to defend it. Okay, just because you have a trademark or a patent or a copyright doesn't really mean anything unless you're willing to spend money to defend it.
Right. And you can spend a lot of money.
You spend a lot of money. So if Fox says, they make the calculation that says, listen, we've probably spent a heck of a lot more money than you, and we're going to get a lot more PR out of this than you are, so we'll go ahead and file and get a court order preemptively saying you don't have any rights to this term Empire.
And a lot of times what you have is these people, like, they want, what, $8 million? They'll take $5 million if you use some of the music that Empire Distribution puts out on the show. So these people will come out and say, if you pay us off, then we'll go away.
Correct. And that's very common as well, because you can license a trademark. And if Fox says we're not going to do that, then the only option that Empire Distribution has is either to sue Fox or let it go, or Fox can preemptively do what they're doing now, which is to file suit against Empire Distribution.
Appreciate the insight as always, Matt Fleischman. Good stuff.
My pleasure.
Empire, do you watch the show? Say yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a good show. I've watched a couple. Listen, it's huge.
With two young kids.
I know. It's I'm right there with you. Yeah. Where's the time? All right. Appreciate it, Matt. Let's go over to Paige.
Who has time for Empire with so much Yo Gabba Gabba to watch, right?